Yeah, so my people, I'm back with another one, and someone asked me to react to a video from this guy called Open Minded uh, Thinker. I think I've reacted to one of his video before, but I just say, let me just reveal to you guys that this clown is a liar. So, as I always say, all praises to the triune God, the God who is above all gods, the God who gives us wisdom to decipher things and to make sense of sensible things and to make nonsense of things that are nonsense. And as I say before, Islam is nothing but nonsense. Peace of Christ be to you, my sister. So, someone asked me to, God bless you too, my sister, react to um, this guy called open-minded thinker. I There was a time when he called himself open-minded Christian, and then all of a sudden, the clowns say that he converted to Islam. But we know this guy is a deceptive wolf and possibly not a Muslim at all. He is among a group of people, and I will show you a video of him and another guy. Actually, uh, they are of the same kind of wolves. They realize that Muslims are gullible people, and anything that Westerners say about Islam, they their channel grow. If you started talking positive about Islam, which is difficult to find anything positive about Islam. But if you are so deceptive, are so stupid enough to think that you're talking about something positive about Islam, then guess what? Your channel take off. There are many, 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 many people who make their living from YouTube channels. And if you decided, okay, I want to make money from YouTube, you cannot have a channel like mine. You have to have a channel that have many subscribers. And the more subscriber you have, when you get up into like 300,000 subscriber, guess what? You could start advertising products. And that's how you started making money. There's people who make thousands of dollars on YouTube channel. Sorry, on YouTube channel, and there are people who have dreams of being famous. There's a lot of different reasons why people have YouTube channels. Some people have it for the right reason, to show deception. Some people have it to show people how to do things. There's cooking shows. There's all kind of different type of thing on YouTube um, that people watches. But we will show you this guy in this video, and we just want to show you something that he say from the beginning. God bless you too, Adrian. How are you, man? So I will show you something that he say from the beginning, and you will know that this guy is nothing but a deceptive, lying wolf. And he targets Muslims, gullible Muslims, and these people don't even know that they're targeted. And even maybe they know, but guess what? Anything that sells Islam is okay. Because even if you lie to sell Islam, these people will love you even if you lie to sell Islam. So let's start the video, and I will show you from the beginning that this is nothing but a lie. So look at this. What you see here, Christian scientists become Muslim after discovering this in the Quran. So he said the title that the guy have is Christian scientists becomes Muslim after discovering this in the Quran. So, what we want to see, did this guy really become a Muslim? Whoever he says become a Muslim, we are going to see if this guy become a Muslim, and we are going to see if there is anything scientific in the Quran uh, regarding what this guy is speaking about. We are going to look at these things. I'm a nurse, so I have a baseline knowledge of certain things. So we're going to look at it, and we're going to read from the Quran and see if what this person is saying, we can buy all these things from what we read from the Quran, or can a person who have any knowledge, who live on a farm, if you live on a farm, like I used to live on a little farm when I was growing up in Jamaica. My father raised animal. There was time when he have cows. There was time when he have donkeys. There was time when he have goats. There was time when he have pigs. There was time when he have chickens. There's a whole lot of stuff. You know, uh, Guinea hen, turkeys, stuff like that. So, but anyway, what we're gonna look at is, can the naked eye see the things that Muhammad talk about in the Quran?
Hello, glad you could join me once again. It's a very great moment.
And if you ever notice, every time he start one of his thing, it's a very great moment. And why is it a great moment? Do you see, he have his master the way to keep people's attention. It's a very great moment. So you're gonna be like, what is so great about this moment? And you continue to watch. It's a very great moment. What is a very great moment? What is so great about the moment? He started telling you from the beginning that it's a very great moment. So, what is great about this?
I am so glad you could make it today. Well, we're good to be talking about embryology and how a significant discovery in history led to the conversion of one of the finest scientists in the world.
So he says, whatever they discover led to the conversion of one of the finest scientists in the world. So let's see what this guy talking about.
This happened not long ago, of course, I have to say so. It serves as a very amazing inspiration for most of us that are new to Islam and its theological and scientific.
And that's sad. Notice what he says. It's amazing to those who are new to Islam, and that's true. If you are uneducated about something, if you don't know about science, these things, watching these things, would lead you to believe that Islam is not that truth, that Islam is the truth, because the devil knows science too. And this is what you're going to hear, something that the professor says, and you know that this professor is a gullible bastard. Not because you are a professor, teaches science in school, that doesn't mean that you're not gullible. I often tell people that Bob Marley had a singer that sing with him called what was his name? Bunny Wailer. I think it was Bunny Wailer. Is it Bunny Wailer? Peter Tosh. It was Peter Tosh, not Bunny Wailer. Bunny Wailer is another singer that sing with Bob Marley, but it was Peter Tosh. This guy, I don't know. When I was growing up, I listened to this guy and I learned a lot from him. Why? I would not want to follow in his footsteps, but you could learn from even people who you don't want to follow. And one other thing he says, if he had gone to school, he would be a bloody fool. He said if he had gone to school, he would be a fool, because there is a lot of educated idiots. We see this. Just look at some of the leaders of the countries around the world. Some of them are lawyers, some of them are this, some of them are that before they become politicians. And you look at some of the stuff that they do and tell me if they are not idiots. Do you tell me if they are not idiots? There's a lot of educated idiots in the world, a whole bunch of them.
Argument. So I know many of you will be interested in this sort of video, and if this is the first time you're hearing anything about Islam, you're welcome. This is an open-minded thinker show.
Notice, if it's the first time you're hearing about anything about Islam, you're welcome. You're welcome what? You're welcome what? It doesn't even make sense, but his mind is open. More like the closed-minded stinker show. So far, what you see is a guy who knows how to use his mouth.
We are on to the life of a man who apparently showed the world the reason why the Quran needs to be accepted in its complete and full theological and scientific arguments and defense. So, guys.
Oh, wow. This is how stupid these people are. So, if science, if you wrote a book and it's filled with science, and you say this is from God, does that mean that it is from God? No, because the devil also knows science. This is how crazy people are. Like, doesn't the devil know science? The devil, do you think it is God who told people to create the atomic bomb and to do all this stuff and create nuclear weapons and do all this stuff? No, it's the devil who told them to do that stuff. The devil who give them the idea to do these things. So does the devil know how to do these things? And it's so crazy that in Islam, I forget to put this video up as something I should share with you, just to show you the mindset of these people. Because in Islam teaches that Satan travel through your blood. Anybody knows that? That Islam teaches that Satan can travel through your blood. And let me see if I could find it real fast. Let me see if I could find that. Islam teaches that Satan can actually travel through your blood. Okay, here it is right here. So I'm going to show you guys this, just to show you that if you believe that Satan can travel through people's blood, but you believe that Satan doesn't know science. If Satan can travel through your blood, that means Satan is in your heart, in your reproductive organ, in everywhere, all over your body, if Satan gets into your body. But Muhammad teaches that Satan can travel through your blood. But Satan doesn't know science. So if there is science in the Quran, then it must be from God. Do you see? This is stupid knowledge. This is a stupid way of thinking, that because a book speaks about science, then it must be from God.
It's a very amazing one. I wouldn't wait to watch this.
Wow, that was nice. Man, he put a lot of effort into this clownery.
The Quran on Embryology. Professor Keith Moore is one of the world's prominent scientists in the fields of anatomy and embryology, and is the author of the book entitled The Developing Human, which has been translated into 8 languages. The book is considered...
Is this guy really one of the world's prominent science in embryology and anatomy? Is he really?
did a scientific reference work and was chosen by the Special Committee in the United States as the best book authorized by one person. Dr. Keith Moore is the professor of anatomy and cell biology at the University of Toronto in Toronto, Canada. In 1984, he received the most distinguished award presented in the field of anatomy in Canada, the JCB Grant Award from the Canadian Association of Anatomists. He has directed many international associations, such as the Canadian and American Association of Anatomists and the Council of the Union of Biological Sciences. Let's now listen to what Professor Keith Moore has to say about the revelations found in the Quran 1400 years ago and what science has only recently been able to find out through detailed investigation.
In the 1940s, Professor Streeter of the Carnegie Institute of Embryology in Washington, D.C., proposed a system for classifying the stages of human development. His system arranged human embryos in 23 numbered stages based on their differences in appearance. The Carnegie system of classification was used around the world until the 1970s, when a more refined system was proposed by Dr. Ronan O'Reilly of the Carnegie Institute of Embryology, now in San Diego, California. Intensive studies of the Quran and Hadith in the last 4 years have revealed a system for classifying human embryos that is amazing, since it was recorded in the 7th century AD. Although Aristotle, the founder of the science of embryology, realized that chick embryos developed in stages from his studies of hen's eggs in the 4th century BC, he did not give any details about these stages. As far as it is known from the history of embryology, little was known about the staging and classification of human embryos until the 20th century. For this reason, the descriptions of the human embryo.
So you see what he's doing right there. He's actually saying that Muhammad in the Quran give the stages of the embryo. That's what he actually saying, that the Quran actually tells the stages of the embryo. But if you read the Quran, you don't, as a person who's a nurse, when I read the Quran, I don't get that from what I read, you know. But if you're reading your idea into the Quran, if you have an agenda and you're reading your idea into the Quran, I read somewhere where Saudi Arabia invited some American scientists and I think scientists from Canada, and I think he was one of them. I believe he was one of them that was invited to Saudi Arabia to go through the Quran and look at scientific things in the Quran and all this stuff, you know. And who knows what this man have been paid, but you will see that what he's saying is reading his knowledge into the Quran and not what the Quran is actually saying. But you know, as we go along, because I've watched this earlier, and you know, me having a knowledge, a base knowledge of what embryology is, and how the stages of that the embryo goes through, I realize that this man is actually reading his knowledge into, and you as a mere person who doesn't know these things will just sit there and listen to him and say, wow. But if you know, you will see that this man is reading his knowledge into what Muhammad saw with his naked eyes. Because even I, growing up on a farm, we have animals that are you know, what should I say? The miscarriages. They have miscarriages. More likely the goats that have miscarriages that I seen having miscarriages was more likely the goats. And when you look at the miscarriage, you could see different things, you know. And even as anybody living in whatever ages you're living in, you know that it's your from your semen. You might not know about sperm. You might not know about that, but you know that from semen, that's what caused animals to give birth, including human being, because we know that um, animals copulate. We know that, and we know that we ourselves copulate. So we know this is where it comes from. But you will see that Muhammad did not have any knowledge and what's the woman's role in in childbearing. You will see that this professor is not really truthful, and Muhammad didn't even know the woman's role in childbearing.
In the Quran cannot be based on scientific knowledge in the seventh century. The only reasonable conclusion is that these descriptions were revealed to Muhammad from God. He could not
Look at that. And do you see that? That's a bias. A bias. For a man, I'm gonna show you this guy Keith Moore talking, and we're gonna show you that Keith Moore is a man who claimed that he's a Christian. And we show you that in Christianity, we believe that there is a force of evil and a force of good. And the force of good is God. The force of good is God. And we know that there's a force of evil, and the force of evil is Satan. And we know that Satan have knowledge. Satan is not uneducated and what's going on in the world. Satan is called the God of the world. Satan is called the God of the world. So do you see? But he's ready to draw to the conclusion that this gotta be God. But he claims he's a Christian. In 1 Corinthians 4, what do we see there? Satan, who is the God of the world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. So if Satan is the God of the world, you want to tell me that the God of the world doesn't know more about what's going on in the world than the people who live in the world. This is how you see that this professor is a biased person. By making that statement, he should, the moment he made that statement, he's biased. Because what? It is illogical to think that everything that is scientific comes from God. And who do you see this stupidity with? You see Zakir Naik making that statement that only the person who make the car know about the car. Who more can you get information from than the person who made the car? And that's a total lie. That's a total lie. There's some people who study cars so much that they will tell you about the car like they are the manufacturer of the car. They will, you have people who are online right now who tell you what car not to buy and which car to buy, because they study these cars so much and what is wrong with these cars and what is going on with these cars. And that the manufacturer will tell you, buy my car, while they're telling you don't buy the car because the head gasket leak. And when you check it out, the head gasket leak. If you look up why not buy certain cars, Chrysler, people tell you, oh, don't buy Chrysler. Why? A lot of times they have head gasket problem. And I had a Chrysler that have head gasket problem. So you see, and when you look it up, Google it, they tell you don't buy Chrysler because Chrysler have an head gasket problem. They tell you don't buy this car because this car, but the manufacturer will tell you to buy. So that's not a true statement that Zakir Naik often use to sell his religion, that who knows more about the car than the manufacturer. Sometimes the people on the side study the car and know a lot about the car too.
Have known such details because he was an illiterate man with absolute.
And the claim that Muhammad was illiterate is not something that can be proven. That is stupid. To say that Muhammad was illiterate, and there he goes, he just buying into their stupidity. So you see right from the bat, he was an illiterate man. How do you know he was an illiterate man? The word Umi doesn't mean illiterate. The word Umi, as they translate it, doesn't mean illiterate in the sense of that Muhammad was illiterate, because we see the word Umi used in other places in the Quran, and it doesn't mean illiterate. If the word Umi mean illiterate, when it's used in other places, then it would mean that all the people in Arabia were illiterate. When they weren't illiterate, all the people weren't illiterate, because we see where the Hadith says Warika used to write the Injil, translate the Injil in a different language. Muhammad have scribes who were writing for him, and a goat eat part of the Quran. So if the goat eat a writing of the Quran, who wrote it? If the goat was eating it, someone wrote it. So to say that the word Umi mean illiterate, when the word Umi actually is used for all the people in the Quran, the word Umi is used for all the people in the Arabian Peninsula. But yet still there were people who could read. One time Muhammad saw someone reading the Torah and told him not to read the Torah. And one of the reasons is that's how a cult leader behave. You don't want you to educate yourself. Jehovah's Witnesses used to teach not to read other things, but now they can't hide because the internet is opening them up wide. The internet is treating them like a slaughterhouse. You go to a slaughterhouse, you see the animals are cut in half, so they're open. You can see their kidneys and their livers and all the stuff. This is what is happening to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and now they cannot. It's hard for them to progress now. You don't see them running to your home as they used to run to your home no more, because what? They're open up. They're not doing as much as they used to. Maybe in certain countries where people don't have access to the internet that easily because of Wi-Fi situation. But here in the United States, you don't see them running around as much as they used to run around, because it's useless now. But this guy here, you could tell that he's been trained properly.
No scientific training. The first stage is adapt, and you'll have to apologize for my pronunciation. This is from Surah Tariq 6. He is created from a drop emitted. This Arabic term refers to the forceful emission of fluids which occurs during ejaculation in the male.
Oh, God. Simple. He has created from a fluid emitted. Everybody know that a fluid is emitted. Was Muhammad a man or was he a girl? And even girls know that a fluid is emitted. Every person that is a man should know that there's a fluid that emits, because it's so crazy that I'm not saying that every person, I shouldn't say every person, because I don't think every person should know, but every man who is sexually active should know he have a fluid that emits. This is something you can see with your eyes. So how do you have to be a person who can read to know this? No, you don't. Everybody knows that.
And ovulation in the female.
What? Do you see how you read his own thought into it? And ovulation in the female. So if you should go and look at the verse that he mentioned, let me see what verse he mentioned, and you tell if you can find anything like that in that. verses 5 and 6. Chapter 86, verse 5, 6, 7. So chapter 86, Surah 86. It's a 5 to 7. It's so easy to find here. And you tell me if you see, so let man observe from what he was created. He was created from fluid ejected. Where do you see anything about ovum or whatever this clown is saying? Emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. What fluid come from between your backbone and your ribs, man? Do you see how this guy is a liar, man? So if you look at this, man, just look at this. Let me show you what the Quran says, and you will see that this professor here is nothing but a clown. He is just planted as a clown. Watch this. And you will see that this guy is just planted as a clown. What do you see here? Do you see what he says? I'm going to repeat what he says and tell me if you see this here. As I tell you, because of his knowledge, he's reading his knowledge into what the Quran says when the Quran didn't say nothing about that. So let man observe from what he was created. This is verse 5. He was created from a fluid ejected. Of course, we know that the fluid ejected. Anybody who is a man having sex doesn't know that the fluid is ejected is a stupid clown. Emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. How does sperm come from between the backbone and the ribs? No, it doesn't. That's what Muhammad feel. When he was ejaculating, he feel a quiver in his back. And he believed that's where the sperm was coming from. Everybody know where the sperm come from, huh? Where the sperm come from? The testicles. Is that where the sperm come from? So Muhammad said, emerging from the backbone and the ribs. Is your testicle in your backbone or your ribs? No, it's not. Do you see that? Nothing to do with what this clown is saying. Nothing at all. We don't see that. Nothing that this guy is saying you can see from these verses. When you see these verses here, do you see anything like what this clown is saying? No, it's not. What a catastrophe, man. But anyway, let's continue. Wow. And let's continue.
This Arabic term refers to the forceful emission of fluids which occurs during ejaculation in the male and ovulation in the female.
Ovulation in the female. Muhammad have nothing of this have to do with no ovulation in no female. Nothing like this have nothing to do with no ovulation in no female. This guy is a clown and a liar. Muhammad is talking about what happened to the man. Nothing to do with no ovulation in the female. Because let me show you that this have nothing to do with no ovulation in the female. Muhammad did not know. Let me show you. A woman doesn't ovulate when she's having sex. That's not when ovulation. In order for a woman to be pregnant, ovulation doesn't occur when you're having sex. And we show you where Muhammad believed that women have a discharge. The discharge from a woman, the discharge that comes from a woman during sex have something to do with genetic composition of a child. So let me show you that. let me show you this, that Muhammad, it was just a liar. He doesn't know what he was talking about. And right there, Muhammad wasn't talking about Muhammad was not talking about nothing to do with the ova or ovum. Muhammad wasn't talking nothing. Muhammad did not know that women have ova, singular ovum, which is now we term we call the eggs are egg. Muhammad didn't know that. Okay, let me see this. Okay, I think this is it right here. Okay, so let me see. Yep, here it is. All right. So let me show you this, guys. And we show you that Muhammad, they're giving Muhammad, this guy is giving Muhammad more credit than Muhammad deserved. Muhammad did not know what this guy is claiming that is in the Quran. You know, Muhammad was ignorant and he made up stuff based on what his eyes saw. So let me show you. So this is Sahih al-Bukhari, and this is see Sahih al-Bukhari 4480, and this is second to the Quran. Second to the Quran. And Abdullah bin Salam, who is a Jewish, according to the narration, is a Jew. So Abdullah bin Salam heard the news of the arrival of Allah's messenger at Medina. So this Jew heard that Muhammad was coming to Medina while he was on a farm collecting fruits. So he came to the prophet and said, I will ask you 3 things which nobody knows unless he is a prophet. Can you imagine? Somebody come to you as a wise prophet of God, and he said, I will ask you 3 things which nobody knows unless he is a prophet. The first wisdom that comes to your mind is what? Are you going to know if I'm telling you the truth if only a prophet know? But because Muhammad was an idiot, Muhammad decided to answer. So listen. Firstly, what is the first portent of the hour? What is the first meal of the people of paradise? And what makes a baby look like its father? And I'm going to show you something. Do you see this one right here? What is the first meal of the people of paradise? Muhammad once asked a boy called what was his name? Ibn Zayd. Muhammad once asked a boy called Ibn Zayd, what is the color of the dirt in paradise? And the boy said, it is like fine white musk. And Muhammad said, you speak the truth. But this guy is asking Muhammad, what is the first meal of the people of paradise? And Abdullah ibn Salam believed that only a prophet would know that. So if only a prophet would know what is the first meal of the people of paradise, how did Ibn Said know what is the color of the earth, of the dirt, or of the ground in paradise? Muhammad, when he says to Muhammad, it is like fine white musk, Muhammad actually say, you speak the truth. But anyway, that's another issue. This is the part right here. And what makes a baby look like its father or mother? Do you see this right here? What make a baby look like its father or mother? The prophet said, Notice what the prophet said. This big prophet, the big prophet, he said, just now, Gabriel has informed me about that. So the same person who gave the Quran is informing him what. So this is literally like the Quran, because what? It is Gabriel speaking to him. Where did Gabriel get this information from? Where did Gabriel or Jibril get this information from? Abdullah said, Jibril. Do you notice this? When Abdullah here, Muhammad said, Jibril, Gabriel informed him. Abdullah said, Gabriel, because Abdullah is a Jew, and the Jew knew about Gabriel. The prophet said, yes. Abdullah said, he is among the angel in the... Look what Abdullah said. He among the angel is the enemy of the Jews. Where is it written? Man, you can't even get nowhere reading these stupidity. But anyway, on that, the prophet recite the holy verse. Whosoever is an enemy of Gabriel, let him die in his fury, for he has brought it, the Quran, down to you, to your heart by Allah's permission. Okay. Then he added, as the first portent of the hour, it will be a fire that will collect the people from the east to the west. And as for the first meal of paradise, it is cordite, i.e., extra lobe of fish liver. Can you imagine? In the Christianity, we know that we won't be eating any fish liver because the Bible teaches that there was no more death. Nothing else will die. Nothing else will die. But this clown say it will be fish liver. And listen to this. And if a man discharge proceed that of a woman, then the child resembles the father. So if a man and a woman having sex and he discharge first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman discharge proceed that of a man, then the child resemble the mother. So if you and your wife is having sex, or whoever, which she should be your wife, and you're planning on having a kid, if your wife discharged before you, you're gonna have a girl. Or a boy that looks like a girl, like his mama. And if you ejaculate first or discharge first, then the boy, then it would be a boy or a girl that look like you. Don't care how ragamuffin you look as a man, or rough and tough, that girl gonna come looking like you. What a clown, man. But we know that this is stupidity, because, and there is another hadith that actually make it even more hilarious. A matter of fact, let me find that hadith for you, because that hadith actually, I think I have it on my thing, and that hadith actually make it even more hilarious. So let me put it here. Okay, here it goes. This is Muhammad's answer. And this is Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, book. Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, hadith number 546. And you see the same thing, Abdullah bin Salim. You see, speaking about Abdullah bin Salim. Let me actually show you that, because it did not come up on. I don't think you guys can see it, but let me show you. Let me show you that one, because this one is actually telling you what Muhammad mean. It's actually explain what Muhammad mean more, so that a Muslim can say, no, he didn't mean that if the woman discharged. Listen. So here is Muhammad's answer. As for the resemblance of a child to its parents, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and get discharged first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman get discharged first, the child will resemble her. And as I show you, it is Bukhari, volume 4, hadith 546. We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie. Why we know that's a lie? And anybody who know about embryology knows that a woman discharge does not have to do anything with genetic composition of a child. The resemblance of a child have to do with genetics. And a woman discharge is just a lubrication. It's nothing. It doesn't do nothing to a child resemblance. Nothing at all. We know about chromosome that came from a man, and chromosome that came from a woman's, a chromosome that came from a man's sperm, and chromosome that come from a woman's ovum or egg. That is what have to do with genetic composition, have nothing to do with a woman's discharge. So when the professor is making the claim about the verses that he read, he is actually reading into it and lying. He's being deceptive, because as I say, and you guys can see, Muhammad did not believe that a woman have ovum, that a woman have ovum, or women have ova. He didn't believe these things. He didn't know about these things. So when the professor is making that claim, you know, he's lying or he's deceptive, because Muhammad believed that what his eyes could see. He knows when he have sex with his wife, she discharged. And that's what his eyes could see. So he believed that the discharge of his wife has something to do with childbearing. Do you see this? Muhammad was a clown, man. Muhammad was a devil-possessed clown. So let me get back into it. So here he goes. So what we see so far, nothing scientific. Nothing scientific. It's just baseline knowledge from what you see. If you raise animal, you see them behave the same way. Animal discharge semen. Muhammad didn't know about sperm. He just know about discharge and the semen. And the semen, he believed from the semen comes, a child is developed from the semen. He didn't know that there are things inside the semen that is called a sperm, that is called sperms, that causes these things to happen. He just know that there's a discharge, and the discharge have something to do with childbirth. That's what he know. Just like I knew before I knew all this. I knew all the stuff that before I know of any knowledge, school knowledge of sperm and stuff like that, and ovum and ova. I know that child comes from all these things. I know. You unless you're an idiot, you wouldn't know that. You don't know when you're little, like you're a little kid. You don't know these things. But when you get to a certain age, you knew these things. You knew, you could tell. You could tell these things. That goats, the reason the goat is pregnant, I knew these things when I was little on the farm. I know the reason the goat is pregnant is because the billy goat did his thing. I know all this stuff.
The male secretions, called semen, contain the spermatozoa, and the female secretions.
Where did Muhammad know anything about that? And then you see how dumb this guy is. He said the sperm is secretion called whatever.
called follicular fluid contain the ovum. This is the stage of fertilization and the nutfa. And after this is what we call the zygote.
He's going too far. He's going too far. He's going too far. Muhammad never was talking about no follicular fluid. Muhammad was talking about a woman's discharge, what he could see with his eyes. You have to be reading. He was talking about follicular fluid. This is ridiculous. You have to be reading, go in too far into these things to believe that Muhammad was talking about this, when that, to be real with you, there is no indication that this is what Muhammad was talking about. Muhammad was talking about, because the guy asked him a question, why does a child? How would the guy know? How would the guy know? Muhammad gave him the right answer when you don't know nothing about no follicular fluid. What he know about is a woman discharging and a man's discharging during sex, and that's what Muhammad knew about. This guy is going so far into follicular fluid and all this stuff when the Quran says nothing about no follicular fluid, nothing about that.
Referred to in the Quran as the nutfa, and the nutfa undergoes division, which we call cleavage, as it passes down the uterine tube. So these are the stages of the nutfa here as it undergoes cell division.
Do you see? His knowledge, all his knowledge, what he knows, he is saying. But where is his support for all these things that he's adding on and saying? Nowhere. Nowhere. The verse that he read, and I read the verse, where is it saying all this stuff? Where is the verse that I read to you guys? So let a man observe from what he was created. He's created from a fluid ejected, from a fluid ejected, not fluids ejected. A fluid ejected. A fluid from the man's fluid. That's what Muhammad was just talking about. One person. They later make up their own story about what this is talking about and other stuff. It's from a fluid ejected. And what is that fluid? The man's semen. The man's semen. That's what he's talking about. That's what the verse says. He is Surah 86 verse 6. He is created from a fluid ejected. And verse 7, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Wow. We know that nothing that have to do with semen comes from the back, between the backbone and the ribs. You have to be an acrobat. Where the ribs, look how far the ribs is. The ribs is all the way up where the lungs, because the ribs is protection for the lungs and the internal organ in that area. Man, I'm telling you, man. Mohammed, something was wrong with his bloody head. So anyway, let's continue.
This term is used several times in the Quran when referring to the beginning of development. After examining all these references, it is concluded that nutfa refers to the small drop of fluid containing the sperm and the ovum.
Do you see how far this clown went? Now let's look at how Zakir Naik, because Zakir Naik claims he's a medical doctor. Let's look at how, before I do that, just to show you before I do that, I wanted to show you guys that Satan, according to Islam, Satan traveled through your blood. So if Satan is traveling to your blood, how could this man draw to the conclusion that only God can know about embryology? If Satan traveled to your blood, how is it that this professor is drawing to the conclusion that only God knows about embryology? If your blood flows to the embryo, so if Satan is in your blood, then Satan must be in your baby's blood too. Man, I'm telling you. Watch this. Oh, this is an advertisement here. Let's get rid of this.
Heard of Bezos and Zuckerberg, but no one's ever really heard of Feeney.
Okay. Do you see what this topic here say? Satan flows like blood. Satan flows like blood.
What mankind is not grateful for is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the means to protect ourselves from the shaitan. But as I said in the beginning,
Allah gave you the means to protect yourself from the Satan, but Satan flow like Satan sleep in your nose at night. Muhammad says when the Muslim pray, he get up in the morning to pray, he must blow his nose and water in his nose and blow it 3 times because Satan sleep in the upper part of the nose. But Allah protect them from Satan, and Satan is sleeping in their head at night like a hotel. That Islam doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
beginning of this session, most of us live our lives oblivious to the shaitan. We don't even take the measures to protect ourselves.
How can you protect yourself from Satan when he's sleeping in your head? Muhammad invited Satan to sleep in the people's head, in Muslim head, and then they say how we protect ourselves from Satan. How can you protect yourself from Satan when he sleeps in your head? It doesn't make any sense.
We don't even spend moments out of our day to protect ourselves. There is a hadith of Safiya radiallahu ta'ala anha. Safiya radiallahu ta'ala anha is an authentic hadith. I believe it is in Sahih Muslim, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But it is indeed authentic. Safiya radiallahu ta'ala anha, she says, one night I went to go visit the Prophet ﷺ as he was making i'tikaf in the masjid, meaning he was spending the night in the masjid to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She says, I went to go visit him. Now, this is the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. She spent some time with him in the masjid. And as a couple hours, some time goes by, she's done visiting him, and now she wants to go home. And the Prophet ﷺ tells her that he will walk her home. He will accompany her back to the house. It's like the middle of the night now. And so they now leave the masjid. They're walking now. This is the streets of Medina. It's the middle of the night. It's dark and all that. And they come across, they see 2 men. And Safiya radiallahu anha, she actually said there were 2 Ansari men. She says, we see 2 Ansari men, and as soon as they see us, they begin to say, they begin to walk quickly. So they basically make eye contact, and they're like, oops, and they begin to like walk away really quickly. And then the Prophet, he begins to say out loud, Hadihi Safiya, Hadihi Ummukum, Hadihi Safiya bint Huyay. The Prophet begins to say out loud, this is Safiya. This is your mother. As we know, the wives of the Prophet are mother.
And you know who Safiya is? Safiya is one of the reasons Muhammad got killed. Muhammad go to Khaybar, capture the people of Khaybar, beat them up, kill them, rob them, and then took Safiya and sleep with her. While Muhammad was sleeping with Safiya, there was a man going around his tent, one of his men going around his tent, because he know that Muhammad made a stupid move sleeping with Safiya after he just killed so many people from her tribe, including her husband and her father and her brother. And it was not long after Muhammad, the same people of Khaybar, Muhammad decided they cooked some meat and Muhammad decided to eat and they poisoned him and he suffered and died later. But so now he is with this wife and two men. They saw two men on the road.
Those are the believers. He says, this is your mother. This is, and then he identifies exactly who she is. He says, this is Safiya, the daughter of Huyay. And the men begin to say, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Ya Rasulullah, Subhanallah, Ya Rasulullah. You know, people read this hadith and you're like, why are they saying Subhanallah? What's going on here? Let me tell you what's going on here. What happened is that when the Prophet identified her, they begin to say, Subhanallah, Ya Rasulullah. What they're saying is, Subhanallah, O Messenger of Allah, we would never think that you're out in the middle of the night with a woman that is not related to you, that is not your mahram. Right? They're saying, Subhanallah, that's not what we were thinking. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he replies to them. He said, Inna shaytan yajri min al-insan majra ad-dam. He says, most certainly the shaitan flows through man like the flowing of blood. He said, Inni khashit. He said, I feared that the shaitan would put an evil thought, a bad thought.
Do you hear that? Satan flow through man just like blood flow through their their vein. But Satan flow through man. How is it that Satan don't know what's inside of man? The heart, the liver, the kidney, if he's flowing through like blood. Satan flow through your blood, through you like blood, man. Satan flow like blood through men. Do you see that? So what we can see is that this professor is not really using his cognition because he doesn't know much about the religion itself. You know, somebody pay him to be talking this nonsense. So let's look at Zakir Naik. And remember, Zakir Naik said, I'm a medical doctor. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a medical doctor. You know, he always say that. So look at this. We're going to look at Zakir Naik speaking for a minute. And look at the way Zakir Naik read the Quran. And we're going to compare it to the way this so-called professor read the Quran. Because Zakir Naik is reading the Quran the way the Quran is supposed to be read. While the so-called professor is reading his thoughts into the Quran. Is reading his knowledge of embryology in the Quran. While Zakir Naik is not such a very bright doctor. He claims he's a medical doctor, but you could tell that he's not very intelligent because you will see some of the mistake he make. He said the birds, we're talking about Darwin's evolution and Darwin, and he says Darwin says the birds were pecking at niches. We know niches, the bird weren't pecking at niches, the bird were living in niches. But he says Darwin said the bird were pecking at niches while the bird were living in niches. In about like to be real with you, in about 14 seconds, I think they said 14 seconds, he tell 14 lies, and actually more than 14 lies in about 14 I think 14 seconds or something like that, something like 14 minutes, I don't remember exactly, but he tell in one paragraph, speaking one paragraph, 14 lies were told. Made up names of people who doesn't even exist. So listen to him.
The Quran describes the various embryological stages in great detail. The Quran mentions Surah Mu'minun, chapter number 23, verse number 12 to 14. that we have created the human beings from a quintessence of clay, then made it into a nutfa, a minute quantity of liquid, then made the nutfa into alaka,
So they notice what he says. Nothing about the egg, nothing about the ovum. It's all about what Muhammad could see from semen. So what we see here, liquid, and then alaka. So the liquid became alaka. This is not hard for you to see. you know, in a if there's a miscarriage. If there's a miscarriage of a woman, which Muhammad have many wives, so I'm sure there is some miscarriage. An animal around, there is some miscarriages. You will see these things. As I say, I am as a young man, see miscarriages in goats. I've never seen a miscarriage in a woman, but I could come to the conclusion that a goat, when they copulate, this is what happened. Liquid, because you actually, if you are on a farm, you actually see the liquid. You see the liquid. Sometimes they misfire and you see the liquid. Then when goats have miscarriages, you see these things. Blood clot looking thing, you see all these things. And as I say, Satan knows these things too. So you can't say, this is from God. But this is not anything scientific, what he's saying right here. You don't see nothing scientific. This is something that you could see with your naked eyes. Because he didn't say nothing about sperm. He's saying a liquid. You could see the liquid with your naked eye.
leech-like substance. Then made the alaka into mudga, that's a chewed-like lump.
A chewed-like lump. So you see something looking like a chewed-like lump. Wow. So God speaking like that, a chewed-like lump. This is something that you see with your eyes. You look at it and say, wow, that look like a chewed up lump. Do you see that when Zakir Naik explained it from his knowledge without putting anything into it, this is exactly how it's read in the Quran.
Then made the mudga into izama, bones.
Then look what he says. Then the mudga is made into bones. Is it? Is this how it is made? That this whatever is made into bones. Now look what happened.
Then clothed the bones with lahim.
Notice he's using the word then. Then means stage by stage. That's not how embryology goes. The bone is not made and then clothed. The bone of a baby is not made and then the bone of the baby is clothed. After it's made, it's clothed. And the mushk, if you go back over just a little bit, you hear what he says.
A leech-like substance. Then made the alaka into mudga, that's a chewed-like lump. Then made the mudga into izama, bones.
So the mudga become bones. Then the mudga become bones. So there's a time in a woman where there is a bony baby. Just bones in this woman. Not true. Nothing goes like that. Nothing goes like that.
Then clothed the bones with lahim. That is.
Then clothed the bone with lahim, mean muscles and flesh. He actually said muscles, but it actually mean flesh. But look at it. Look at it. If anybody know, the bone and the flesh grow simultaneously. A bone doesn't lay there and then flesh grow on top of it. That's not scientific. And this is exactly how the Quran read. Let me show you that this is exactly how the Quran read. Just to show you guys that this is exactly how the Quran read. The Quran read exactly like you see that. And this is why you know that what the guy was doing, the the professor is reading his own thoughts into his own knowledge into the Quran to make the Quran say what the Quran does not say. So let's look and see that what Zakir Naik say is exactly what the Quran say. Exactly what the Quran say, and have nothing to do with embryology. I'm going to read some comment after I finish this part because I like to involve people into this. So let's look at this. Zakir Naik is a medical doctor. He's a medical doctor. So let's look at this. Here are different versions of the Quran. Are what should I say, translation, if that's how they want to put it. Okay. And this is Surah 23, verse 14. The same one that he just read. Look at this. Then we made the seed a clot. So they put the word seed. This one put the word seed. So if you look at the word seed, the seed could mean sperm. But there is no such thing in the Quran. So just watch it. But watch that. A clot. So we know the seed is made a clot. What kind of clot? Then we made the clot a lump of flesh. So the clot became a lump of flesh. Then we made in the lump of flesh bones. But you notice parentheses, we made in, not that's not what it says. Then we made the lump of flesh bone. There is no in. They add this word because there is no in there. So we made the lump of flesh bones, then clothed the bones with flesh. Do you see that? Do you see that? Exactly like how he's reading it. This is what Muhammad believed happened inside of a woman, when that's not what happened inside. That's not what happened. You don't make bones and then bones is, and then the word then mean a stage, a series of things are happening. Then, and that's exactly how Zakir Naik read it. Then, and then notice what he says. Then we cause it to grow into another creation. So according to Allah, the baby that is kicking in, the baby that is moving inside the woman, when it become another creation, I don't know. And look at this. Allah, so blessed be Allah, the best of the creators. How many creators they got? I don't know. But anyway, and here it is, same thing. The living germ, notice that? The living germ, this one, oh boy, he took it out of proportion. The living germ then was turned into a shapeless lump of flesh from which bones were formed. So from which bone were formed? The bone then, notice this, is the same thing. From which bones were formed? The bone then were covered with flesh. This is a lie. In embryology, this is not true. The bones were not made and then covered with flesh. It's a spontaneous thing. When you see then, it's a series. I mean, one thing happened before the other. I would say, I eat my chicken, then I eat my rice. That means I eat the chicken first, then eat the rice. The moment you say, if I say I eat chicken and rice, I did not tell you which one I eat first or second, or if I eat them together. But if I say I eat my chicken, then I eat my rice, that means the chicken was eaten before the rice. That's how language goes. Because they say at this stage, we cause it to become another creature. Do you see these people who come later? They try to make it as if it is scientific, but it's not. It's not scientific. Look at this, Mushin Khan. Mushinkan translation. Then we made the nufa into a clot, a piece of thick so he look at clot as a piece of thick coagulated blood. We know what is coagulated blood. Coagulated blood is dead blood. So what we see in here, senseless. Then we made the clot into a lump of flesh. Then we made out of the little lump of flesh bones. So then we clothed the bone with flesh. And then we brought it forth as another creation. All this is lie. We know that in embryology, there is no then when it comes to bone and flesh. Bone and muscle form at the same time spontaneously. You can have dry bones just sitting there. Our berry is the same thing. Then we created a drop of clot. Then we created of the drop of clot. And it's all about the man, nothing about a woman. Right here. Because Muhammad didn't understand what's the contribution of the woman. Muhammad believed that the sperm goes in and does become things. That's what Muhammad believed. And this is what the Quran is saying. The doctor is reading into it all these other things that is not written there. And he said, then we create of the tissue bones, then we garment the bones with flesh. Same thing. Do you see? Same thing. From what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different translations. 4 different translators saying the same thing. So the guy have no clue what he's talking about. So let's get back to the video that we were playing, just to show you that Zakir Naik what Zakir Naik says. And we'll see where a real embryologist debunked all this stupidity.
Flesh. And then we made a different creature. Glory be to Allah, who's the best to create. These 3 verses of the Quran describe the various embryological stages, the initial stages of death.
So glory be to Allah, the best to create. According to his translation, he said the best to create. That means there is a second best to create. Who is that? Isa? Isa created a bird. So Isa must be the second best creator.
Development of a human being in the mother's womb in great detail.
That's not a great detail. So he claimed this is great detail. You know, and as we go back to this professor, we will see that there is no great detail in nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort have no great detail in it. Nothing of the sort. The professor is the one who make it great detail.
Also used to refer to the dividing zygote as it undergoes cleavage.
Do you see that? The dividing zygote and all the stuff. You don't see nothing like that in the Quran. And it's dividing zygote and all these stuff. So you take modern science and you squeeze it to fit what's inside the Quran.
Cell division and passes along the uterine tube to enter the uterus. This surah says, then he made his progeny from a quintessence of the nature of fluid despised. Sulala is an Arabic term, refers to the gentle extraction of the germ or sex cells from the millions that are produced. There are 300 to 500 million sperms in the ejaculate of a healthy young male. Only one of these is extracted from the semen to fertilize the ovum. This shows a
Watch this.
photograph of the million. Sulala is an Arabic term, refers to the.
So, Surah 23, verse 12. Surah 23, verse 12. That's what he just talk about. So if you go and you write Surah 23, verse 1, 2, sorry. Let me show you what he says. Is that what you're reading? I don't know what this guy is reading, but anyway. He is reading. So let's look at 23 verse 12 and the other verses, and you will see nothing like what this guy says. Nothing like what this guy says. That's just reading into. You're putting your knowledge into what the Quran says. What Muhammad is saying is something that you can devise in your own head and see with your naked eyes. So let's look at this. So, and certainly did we create man from an extract of clay, and replace him as a sperm drop. Notice what he says. We place him as a sperm drop in a firm lodging. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot, and it continued like we said. Then. Then we, see what he says? All these stuff, like Zakir Naik. But you don't see what this guy is saying. What he's saying is there. Nothing like that is there. Nothing whatsoever like what this guy is saying is there. He's reading his knowledge into the Quran. Reading his knowledge into the Quran. And that's what happened, Is a biased person reading his knowledge into the Quran. So, hey, happy friends, how are you? So bias as bias, nothing like that you will see, not whatsoever. Nothing like what you see this scientist is saying is not in the Quran. If you're knowledgeable and you want to sell a lie, you could add your knowledge into what is already there. But as I say, nothing that you could not devise with your own thought. When I was a kid, 14, 15, and goats mate in a certain season, and they have baby run about the winter time. But in Jamaica, the winter is not cold. But that's the time goat have babies. I don't know in other part of the world if it's different, but goat mate and have babies run about the winter time. And even here in the United States, you find that deers have a mating season. I think they have their babies run about the winter time too. I think so. I'm not sure. But most of the time the goat mating season, I'm not saying that goat doesn't mate off season, but when most of your kids, if you have a lot of goats, most of your kids will come round about the winter time. And as kids, we take care of these goats. But it's our job to take care of these goats, and you see them in action. It's not like you want to see them, but a ram goat don't have no shame in his game. He just do whatever he feel like doing. A billy goat make his crazy sound. Sound. It's the craziest thing you ever heard. Why they do that? I don't know. And they do what they do. And you can see with your natural eyes what Muhammad is describing. Like I'm talking about the sperm and stuff like that. You could see, not the sperm, the semen, because you can see sperm. You can see with your natural eye the semen. You can see sperm with your natural eyes. But you can see the semen with your natural eyes. Muhammad never mentioned anything about any sperm. You don't see nothing about sperm in the Quran. A liquid doesn't mean, or a drop doesn't mean sperm. And turning this into this, turn the drop. Notice what Muhammad said. He turned the drop into something. The drop is not turned into nothing. The drop that you can see with your naked eyes doesn't turn into nothing. Inside that drop, inside the gel of that drop is what turned into something.
Gentle extraction of the germ or sex cells from the millions that are produced. There are 300 to 500 million sperms.
Do you see all that? Where do you see that in the Quran? All the stuff that he's saying, nowhere in the Quran to be found.
In the ejaculate of a healthy young male. Only one of these is extracted from the semen to fertilize the ovum. This shows a photograph of the millions of sperm.
And where does that have anything to do with the Quran? Even him want to fall asleep. Even this clown tried to go to sleep. Can have nothing at all to do with the Quran.
When they are ejaculated, and only one of these several million sperms is drawn out, which is what is suggested by the word sulala.
No. Do you see this? Chapter 12, verse 6. Are we already read this? Chapter 32, verse 6 to 7. Is that we already read that? Chapter let me make sure we have it here. And hold on, let me see. 32, let me see. 32, verse 6 to 7. 32, verse, make sure. No, we didn't read it before. 6 to 7. So let's read that now. Okay, here we go. And let me see if, oh, wow. No, not from here. It's too big and have too much tafsir in it. I don't want to see all that stuff. I just want to read the raw Quran. Raw Quran, you too raw. Muhammad, man. Muhammad and his people, they are something else. Okay, let me see if I could find it here. That's okay. Okay, let's go back. I don't know why it's not showing two verses together. Okay, so this one, I'm going to read it and then show it to you. This is the knower of the unseen and the witness, the exalted in eye, the merciful. What does that have to do with what did he just show? Hold on, maybe I'm seeing wrong. 32 verse 6 and 7. Now let's see what 7 says, because I'm not seeing nothing that this guy is saying. I will show you guys. Maybe I need the glasses, so let me put my glasses on. Because I might need glasses, because I'm seeing 32 on the screen. I'm seeing 32 on the screen, but 32:6 says nothing like that. So let's do 32:7, see what 32:7 says. We perfect everything which we create and began the creation of a man from clay. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. What is he reading from? Chapter 32, verse 6 to 7. Now, I want somebody to tell me if chapter 32, verse 6 to 7. Am I seeing something that you guys are not seeing? Am I going crazy? Hold up. Let's this is, let me see if I could find. Okay, 6 to 7. Okay, yeah. So on his screen, my friends, I want to show you what's on his screen. He got chapter 32, verse 6 to 7 on his screen. But look at it. Chapter 32, verse 6 to 7. I want you guys to look at this. This is Quran 32. See? Quran 32. Can you see that? Prostration as what is? Sajda, or whatever is pronounced. Look at verse 6. That is the knower of the invisible and the visible, the powerful, the merciful. He has perfected everything. He created and originate the creation of man from clay. Okay, 8. Then made his reproduction from an extract of an, notice what it says, then made his reproduction from an extract of an insignificant fluid. So extract from an significant fluid have nothing at all to do with so it's verse 8. I think this is verse 8 that I think he is living on. But let's look at verse 8, because sometimes these Muslims, they had their own thoughts into even the Quran. So we're gonna go up here, and this is what we're gonna do. Surah 32, verse 8. We're gonna look at it from and put translation there so that we could see what it actually says from various translators, because there's many translators who are trying to make things say what it does not say. And this is why we use many translation, so that you're not seeing only just one translation in most cases, so that you can see that, hey, you know, okay, let's see this. Then he made his prosperity out of an extract of liquid disdain, and made his progeny from a quintessence of nature of a fluid. This, you know, so man is made from the extract of a mean fluid. Okay, so Mushin Khan says, then he made his offspring from a semen of worthless water, male and female. Look at it, says male and female sexual discharge. Do you see this? Male and female sexual, because this is what Muhammad literally believe. This is what Muhammad literally believed. Do you remember I read the hadith to you where Muhammad said that? Look. Let me read it again. Let me show you. When the Jews asked Muhammad, here is Muhammad said. Let's see what Muhammad says. And if a man discharge proceed that of the woman, then the child resemble the father. And if the woman's discharge proceed that of a man, then the child resemble the mother. I show you that. I show you where Muhammad believed that stuff. And not only that, the corresponding hadith that I read to you shows clearer that that's what Muhammad believed. You know, here is what Muhammad say in Bukhari 4, volume 4, hadith number 546. Muhammad says, as for the resemblance of a child to its parents, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and get discharged first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman gets discharged first, the child will resemble her. So when you see Mushin Khan wrote this and says, then he made his offspring from semen of worthless water. Is it worthless? How can it be worthless if there is sperm in it? But this is what Muhammad believed, that the water is, he's like, how did a child come from something like that? It was puzzling him. You know, male and female discharge. So male and female discharge. And do you see the corresponding hadith that prove that Muhammad believed that a woman's discharge have something to do with the genetic composition of a child? If the woman discharged first, then the child will resemble her. But we know that a woman's discharge have nothing to do with genetic composition, because a woman discharge is literally worthless water. But a man's discharge is not worthless water. Do you see that? Is it a despised fluid? How is it despised? What despised? Can you imagine? Muhammad was a clown, man. But anyway, seed from a jar of despised fluid. So Muhammad believed it is the fluid itself that make the child came from. That's what he believed. That's what Muhammad believed, that the fluid itself, the semen, is what the child come from. Underrated fluid. And then this professor started reading into the text. He started reading more than what is actually there into the text. Yafour wrote the Quran. Maybe Yafour wrote the Quran. What is Yafour? Open-minded Abdul is a clown. Really a clown, man. Foolish clown. This guy, open-minded Abdul, is nothing but a clown. A clown, man. So here we go. Always a clown. This guy is a clown, and the guy who claimed to be Professor Keith Moore was a clown.
The same in the case of the ovary. Only one ovum reaches maturity and is expelled from the ovary, and it is extracted from the many thousands that are available in the ovary. Again, the idea of extraction, or sulala. The next stage is Amshaj, Surah Ad-Der 2. Verily, we created man from a mixture of a germinal drop.
So let's go to Surah 76, verse 2. And you will see what Surah 76, verse 2 is. Surah 76, verse 2. So let's see. For indeed we alone created human from a drop of mixed fluid. So a drop of mixed fluid in order to test them. So we made them hear and see. But do you notice what the guy did? Do you notice what the guy did? What did he just do? My family, do you see what he did? He want to say the mixed fluid has something to do with the ovum and the sperm. But we know that's not what Muhammad believed. The mixed fluid that Muhammad is talking about here, mixed fluid, Mushin Khan is right. When Mushin Khan have it, that Muhammad say that, let me read back Mushin Khan. Then we made his offspring from semen of worthless water, male and female sexual discharge. That mean Muhammad believed that women have semen. Muhammad believed that women have semen. And we could see that this is true when we read Bukhari volume 4, added what was the added number again? 5, I think it was added what was it? Added 546. And then when we also look at Bukhari, let me see, what was this too? Bukhari 4480, book 6, added number 7, you see the same thing, that Muhammad believed that women have sperm. Muhammad believed that women have sperm. And that's why Mushin Khan translate his thing clear for you guys to see what Muhammad believed. Muhammad believed that women have sperm. So when the professor is talking about ovum and ova and other stuff, Muhammad did not see that. Muhammad did not understand how the woman contribute, and the Quran doesn't tell how the woman contribute to the genetic composition of a child. And we could see it in the hadith what Muhammad believed. Exactly what Muhammad believed. It's not rocket science, my friend. It's not hard to see what Muhammad believed.
Amshaj, then, as an Arabic term, is used in the Quran to describe the mixing of the sperms and the ovum during fertilization.
Do you see that? He's talking about mixing of the sperm and the ovum. The Quran said nothing about that. That's reading into the Quran. Reading your knowledge into the Quran, you're actually making yourself the God of the Quran right there. Because what? You're putting yourself, what you believe, into the Quran. And the sad thing about it, this man is a kufar. This man is a kufar. And you know, you see a kufar, they have a kufar reading into their Quran and making his own, actually undermining their God, because that's not what the Quran says. The Quran is saying nothing about no ovum or no egg or nothing like that. The Quran is talking about female fluid and male fluid, and this is why Mushin Khan could easily says, then he made his offspring from semen of worthless water, male and female sexual discharge. Tell me now, does a woman discharge during what a woman discharge during sex have to do with? Because the man, Muhammad said, if the man discharge first, the child look like the man, and if the woman discharge first, the child look like the woman. So this is talking about discharge that comes out during sex. And this is why Mushin Khan is actually, in most cases, the best of translator when it comes to the Quran, because he's letting you know what is going on. Mushin Khan version of the Quran is second to a Robert Spencer version of the Quran, to be real with you, because Mushin Khan kind of give a historical background around what is going on. And this is why you see male and female sexual discharge, because he read the hadith and know what Muhammad's mind is all about. Just like Robert Spencer, when his Quran give you what's going on, why Muhammad got this revelation, what was going on before Muhammad got this revelation, what make him get this revelation, so you could see the mindset of Muhammad, and it's the same way. Similarly, I wouldn't say the same way, but similarly, kind of, that Mushin Khan translate his Quran, and you will see him put into parentheses certain things, because he is telling you where Muhammad's mind was.
The ovum rotates within the fluid containing the sperms until one of them is successful in penetrating its covering layers.
Look at that. Where do you see that in the Quran? Where do you see these things into the Quran? Nothing like that is in the Quran.
Which we call the corona radiata and the zona pellucida, which is this layer here. Yeah, I'll read it again in English. It's Surah Abasa 19. He created a new individual from Nutfa and immediately planned and programmed him. That was the first one we had. Oh, there it is. So al-Khalq then is an Arabic term which means coming into being, and it's used when referring to the fertilized ovum or zygote. Here you can see
this professor is off the chain, man. This guy is really need his butt whooped by a elderly woman. Boy, why you going over there brainwashing these Muslims? And whoop his butt.
Nuclei from the sperm and the ovum uniting to form a new cell, which is the zygote or nutfa, and then here's the zygote or nutfa again. It's just getting ready to divide into two cells, which we call the dividing zygote or the dividing nutfa.
Oh, wow. The dividing zygote and the dividing nutfa. This guy is really putting his all into this stuff.
The next stage, El Tekdir, which is the same verse that was just repeated. This Arabic term means the determination of characters and appears to refer to the fact that from the beginning, the zygote or nutfa contains genetic factors in the chromosome, contain the genes which determine the color of the future person's eyes, hair, and skin, and all its other characteristics, such as the...
Do you see the craziness of this guy? We already read the hadith, and what the hadith says, the hadith tells you how, doesn't the hadith tell you how Muhammad believe about genetic composition, eyes, ears, and all this stuff? He says whoever discharged first, if the woman discharged first, the child will look like her. So if the woman have blonde hair, whatever, that child is going to come out having blonde hair if she discharged first. If the man discharged first and the man have black hair or auburn hair, whatever, the child is going to come looking like him. Have nothing to do with all this stuff that this man is presenting. Popularity. So just like this clown, open-minded so-called thinker, more like an open-minded, closed-minded thinker, just like this clown, this is the same thing this guy was doing. He knew just the same thing that this guy knew. How can you become popular? Who would hear about Keith more if he did not go off on this adventure? No one would know nothing about this guy. None of us would have heard, maybe hear the name Keith Moore mentioned if he didn't go off on this stupidity that he go off on. People do things to get popularity, to gain popularity. But I'm not going to watch all this nonsense, because we know that the nonsense is. So let's skip over to this part right here.
Of the seed. This analogy is a very good one since the blastocyst develops.
Hey, assalamu alaikum. Look, Muslim man, yin barakah, halal income. Look,
develops root-like structures called chorionic villi.
But okay, let's go down to this guy. We want to get to this guy where you hear what this guy says, because we know nothing that he says make any sense. The prophets are saying. So let's go to this guy.
I am watching a video that's quite detailed in anatomy and embryology like this. I would give it up to the man, the way he was conjuring some of this fact and the way he continued to say the truth about them, saying that all these revelations were discovered, all these facts were discovered at a very early stage compared to when Muhammad was the prophet in Mecca, when he was alive. That's the 7th century ago. Not even the Romans had an idea about what really goes on. Not even the
Wow. They don't have an idea what going on. This guy is a clown, man. This guy is a straight up clown. As I say, everybody, when you look at the science of the before the time of Muhammad, you will see where people actually were looking at eggs and stuff like that to see what's going on inside the egg. What Muhammad did was something that his mind surmised, like, I have sex with my wife, I saw a miscarriage, and this is what it looked like. You don't see nothing real scientific inside this stuff to say, you cover the bone, you turn you made from this thing bones, and then cover the bones with flesh. Nothing like that is scientific. Bones cannot be made and then covered with flesh. That's not true. Bones are not just made and covered with flesh. This is nonsense. This is totally nonsense. totally nonsense. It's just what come to your mind. Like, I think this when he see a miscarriage, he maybe take a stick. Look at it. It looked like a leech. He looked like then he say, this turned into this, and then this, that's what he did, because nobody will say, okay, scientists know that bones are not made and then covered with flesh. Bones and flesh grow together. They spontaneously grow together, and are simultaneously grow together. Yeah. But the crazy thing about it, to say that this is coming from God, this is coming from a very careless place, very, very careless place, and this have nothing to do with embryology, nothing at all.
Egyptians, of the early times, really had the idea of how humans are formed and how all this is made easy. I think some of these things being mentioned in the Quran is emblematic of a religion that is really rooted in the revelation of God. How could a 7th century man who knows nothing, he's not even educated, he lived in the desert, he never lived in, I think, in a literal environment where people
Look at this idiot. Muhammad was a merchant traveling in. So this clown said he didn't live in the literal. Muhammad was a merchant, traveled places where other people, a regular Arab living in that time, did not travel. Do you see? Muhammad was a merchant, travel, and then as far as they describe Mecca or wherever Muhammad was living, you could see that it was a merchant town where people come from all over. And when people come from places like merchant travel, they come with tales. They sell tales. It's not like they only just come selling merchandise. They sell tales also. And let me show you something from the Quran, just to show you that this guy is nothing but a clown. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find this. I think this is it. Surah 16, verse 103. This is one of the stupid verse in the Quran, but I want you guys to pay attention to it. You know, it's Surah 16, verse 103. Just to show you what was going on in the days of Muhammad, you know, just to show you how the people in there, because foreigners were coming to their land. Foreigners came there. And just to show you that this guy is such a dumb. Muhammad was a merchant and traveled from place to place, and also foreign merchants travel to wherever Muhammad was living. You know, let me show you how I know that. Anybody read this Quran verse right here? What do you see here? This is Surah 16, verse 103. And we certainly know that they say it is only human being who teaches the prophet. The tongue of the one they refer to is foreign. So there were people who were living there with foreign tongues. And this Quran is in a clear Arabic language. So there were people coming to Mecca or wherever this verse was given at the time, who had foreign language. They came from, and they don't, according to this, they don't speak Arabic. In order for you to live in an environment where they don't speak Arabic, you have to have people who know your language and also know Arabic. So do you see that? And the Quran, look at the Quran's stupid excuse. And we certainly know that they say it is only human being who teaches the prophet. The tongue of the one they refer to is foreign. And this Quran is in clear Arabic language. So the stupidness of this God is saying that because the tongue of the one is foreign and the Quran is in Arabic, it could not, Muhammad could not be getting from this man. But what about interpreters? The man telling his tale and somebody is there interpreting the tale. You know, there are people who there who are bilingual, you know, who speak two languages. So this is how stupid the God of the God is. Look at the defense of this God. Does it even make any sense whatsoever? So the people were accusing Muhammad of getting things from a certain man. And the Quran actually let us know that there was a certain man that the people were accusing him of, because it says the tongue of the one they refer to is foreign. So the Quran actually identified that there was a certain man that Muhammad the people believe that Muhammad was stealing from. So guess what? Is the people so stupid to believe that Muhammad was stealing from this man, but the man only speak one language? How would you say, hey, Islam is a mess, is stealing from a person who only speak Arabic and I don't have a way to know Arabic? I can steal from a man who speak Arabic if I don't have a way of translating what he said because I don't know Arabic. Do you see? This God is a clown God. Totally a clown God, man. But I want you guys to see something and pay attention keenly to this here. I want you guys to see something right here. What this clown says. The open-minded clown. Closed-minded stinking clown. let me show you something he says that literally that he is thinking, but he said he's a thinker. We know he's not thinking. Thinking, he's thinking. Let me show you something that he says that make no sense whatsoever. Do you see what he says? Christian scientist becomes Muslim after discovering this in the Quran. He says the man become a Muslim. Is that true? Is that true? Did Keith Moore become a Muslim? Let's show you something to show you that this guy is a lying clown. Keith Moore did not become a Muslim. Keith Moore used them. Never become a Muslim. So if you look here, this is Islam Papers. And what do you see here? A question to Keith Moore. Have you become Muslim and accepted Islam? And listen this.
You can ask me any question you like.
Mention of embryology, what the Quran has mentioned, and follow that. Have you become Muslim or have you accepted Islam? Why and why not? Thank you.
That's the question I've been asked, of course, hundreds of times, and it's a very logical question. And I'll give you the same answer that I gave in Saudi Arabia, that I gave in Toronto, that I gave in Sudbury a couple of weeks ago, and that I give anywhere I go. And that is that I was raised in a Christian family. My father was a Presbyterian minister, and he taught me to respect all religions. And he said that all those who believe and worship God just have a different way of doing it. So I have no difficulty in understanding that we all worship the same God. Now, it would be different if I didn't have a strong faith.
So, do you see how naive this so-called professor is? He said they worship the same God. You know, maybe he is like the Muslims who believe that the Quran is saying that Jesus was killed, because he said he's a Christian. So maybe he is one of those Muslims who say Jesus was killed. Because if he believe like the Sunni Muslims, something is wrong, because he says he's a Christian, and as a Christian, the number one article in your faith is that Jesus died for your sin. That's one of the main articles of the faith, that Jesus died for your sin. So for you to say, "Oh, I'm a Christian. I grow up into a Christian faith, and this and this and this," but you believe that it is the same God. Do you believe that Jesus was killed or he wasn't killed? What is your belief? Are you believing like Sunni Muslim? Are you the God of the Sunni Muslims? Or is the Sunni Muslim confused and they don't know what they're talking about? And the few Muslims who say Jesus was killed, like Muhammad Sawar, who believe that Jesus was killed, that Allah killed Isa, you know, is that what he believed? I don't know.
Faith of my own. In other words, if I had been an agnostic and didn't believe strongly in God, that obviously I would have probably accepted your religion. But as I was raised as a Christian and believe as you do that Muhammad was a messenger of God, just as Jesus.
So he said he believed that Muhammad was a messenger of God, just as Jesus was a messenger of God. But have you ever read the Quran? Or are you just reading the embryology crap? Because you know, they did not kill him. What does he believe when he see this verse? Or he just spend his life around the stupid embryology verses that they gave to him, and he decided to write his nonsense to support? What is his belief?
Was a messenger, each bringing messages from God. So I didn't find it difficult when I was told about the Quran that these were revelations from God. It didn't. It wasn't difficult.
Do you notice he said "my God"? Then he changed it from God. You know, there was revelation from my God, and then he said from God. Because he's just playing a game, man. Just like this clown, open-minded stinker, is playing a game. It's the same way this clown is playing a game. Was playing a game. How to be famous, how to make money.
For me, because my own father made it very clear to me that he was called by God to be a minister, to go and talk about God to the people. So in an indirect way, maybe God is telling me that this is the right thing for me to do, to help explain your holy book to you. Now, your scientific colleagues can do this just as well as I can if they have an understanding of embryology. But I've always said that it's probably mean more as a non-Muslim for me to tell people around the world that I believe that what is recorded in the Quran is
is more for him to be a non-Muslim. It's better for him to be a non-Muslim, you know. But this guy have on the thing. You look at the thing that this guy have. He says the professor is a Muslim. You see where he says the professor is a Muslim? He became a Muslim. But let's share one more video and then we wrap it up. Wrap it up now. I wanna just wrap it up now and finish. Okay, so one more video need to be shared just to show you what this real embryologist say. When they take it to the real embryologist, what he says. Here is what the real embryologist says. Let's talk about it.
Like I say, when we look at the descriptions of embryology in the Quran, and we look at the descriptions of embryology in Aristotle,
sure,
they're the same.
Well, in what way, sir? Would you like to give us
the discussion of the development of bones, etc.? All these things, the fairly crude stages that are described in Aristotle, it's obvious.
You may have a point there. I'm willing to accept that. What I'm saying is, I'm willing to accept that there may be similarities.
But look at it. Aristotle came years before Muhammad. Years before Muhammad. And as I told you, merchants were traveling to Muhammad's region, and Muhammad also was a traveler who was a merchant. So that it's to hear people say that Muhammad could not have known these things from other sources. This is stupid to think. And look again, not only that, we will hear, and we look at this credential of this man, because this man, the reason they go to this man is because he's an embryologist. It's not because he's a nobody why they go to him. They didn't just go to him because he's a nobody.
In great detail. How could a desert Arab who knew nothing about science, was so primitive that, for instance, they used to believe mountains to keep the sky up, would come to such conclusions?
So this man is a famous American biology professor at the University of Minnesota. He specialized in the field of developmental biology. So, and study human embryology extensively.
I've read those sections of the Quran. I've read those sections of the Quran. I've read those sections of the Quran.
Do you disagree with the stages of embryology? The Quran, the
yes,
seventh.
Yes,
So let him say
yes.
right, let him
The
say right.
Quran
Right.
is babbling. It's throwing out these very vague, fuzzy descriptions, of the embryo looking like chewed.
This is exactly how I see it from my point of view. Fuzzy, vague, just like any normal person would observe if they have any knowledge of what they see between animals or human being. It is not something that comes from God Almighty. It's not something that comes from a very intelligent source. It's something that came from someone who choose to write about what they see, in a miscarriage or something that they see from their own experience. Like, okay, I am a man, I have sex, I know what I see. I am a man, I have a wife, she have a miscarriage in a time like this. Nowadays, when your wife have a miscarriage, you may not see anything at all because you go to the hospital nurse is the ones who, the people professional at the hospital is the one who see everything. You may not see anything. But back then it was not so. Things happen at home. Nobody was running to no hospital.
Flesh or whatever. When you look at what the Quran says about it, it is vague, it is ambiguous.
Sure.
It's the kind of stuff that a desert nomad might guess. The Quran is basically stealing from Greek embryology.
Galen, yeah?
Well, I'm talking specifically about Aristotle.
So you guys see that Greek philosopher who did extensive study of animal to dissection lived 900 years before Muhammad in Greece and wrote a whole book on animal embryology development. Say the exact same thing the Quran said. Its work was very widespread and studied extensively by many. Where is it that this, so let's get into a little bit more of this guy, because this is knowledgeable people talking. You gotta, okay, let's read that. Arabian writers. So this guy,
7th century echo of Aristotle and the Ayurveda, unquote. Clearly, Surah 22 verse 5 and Surah 23 verses 12 to 14 contain nothing more than a cursive and rather meager rehash of Hellenic embryological science. There exists an even more likely source, however. Quote, Such medical knowledge as Muhammad possessed, he may well have acquired from Harith ibn Kalda, an Arab, who is said to have left the desert for a while and gone to Jundi Shapur to study medicine. On his return, Harith settled in Mecca and became the foremost physician of the Arabs of the desert. Whether he ever embraced Islam is uncertain, but this did not prevent the Prophet from sending his sick friends to consult him." Unquote.
Aristotle also describes the emergence of bones and muscle in sequence.
Right.
Okay.
And it's like the Quran.
And it's like the Quran. Which
But does Aristotle say the bones come first and then the flesh and the muscles? Does he say that? Are you sure?
Anybody that works.
I'll let you think about this.
Well, if you are you is that what
I'm not saying it. Can you
is that what, sure? Is that what the Quran specifically says?
Absolutely. This is exactly what the Quran says. Absolutely. This is exactly what the Quran says. Absolutely. This is exactly what the Quran says. Chapter 23.
Because you just demonstrated the Quran is wrong.
Yeah, but
How?
That's what happens. That's not what happens.
Well, this is what the embryologists are telling us. This is exactly what the embryologists are telling us.
No, they're not.
Exactly what the embryologists are telling us.
No, they're not.
Exactly what the embryologists are telling us.
No, they're not.
Hey, look.
Okay.
Embryologists.
Do you want to see something? Watch this lady. Watch this lady. This lady right here in the lab. It looked like a lab coat, like a blue lab coat, or maybe it's just a jeans top. You know, you could tell that she. You could tell that she. She's knowledgeable. You could tell that she's knowledgeable of these things. Watch.
This is what the embryologists are telling us. This is exactly what the embryologists are telling us.
Do you see her? She's laughing.
They're not.
Exactly what the embryologists are telling us.
The God of Islam is nothing but a laughing stock. You know, when these people, he said, this is exactly, Anan Rashid is such a clown. He said, this is exactly what the embryologist is telling us. No, they're not. No, they're not. Bones don't just lay down into the, you just lay down bone. He said, bone come first. Do you see? Exactly. When Anan Rashid read the Quran, what he see, bone come first. Just like when Zakir Naik was reading it, Zakir Naik said, bone come first. But when you see the professor reading it, he had his own intelligence into it. That means he's more intelligent than Allah, to the point where he add his own intelligence into the Quran.
But they're not.
Exactly what the embryologist is telling us.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Embryologists.
Let me tell you what Keith Moore said. I mean, you can disagree with him.
He doesn't like Keith Moore.
I don't know why you don't like. What he said on the page number 364A of his book, The Human Embryo.
Firstly, the page to which you refer was written not by Keith Moore, but by Abdul Majid Azadani. Any page in the book you referred to that ends with an alphabetic letter, page 364A, for example, is so. Furthermore, I actually contacted Keith Moore via his publisher, who told me that Muslims had taken his words out of context.
Oh, wow. Listen to me. They did not take his word out of context. He realized that he made a stupid mistake. Now he's trying to recant, because Keith Moore is a fraud. He was a fraud. He ripped off those Muslims. I know he was paid to talk all the nonsense that he talked. I know that for a fact that he was paid. Why would you be talking all this nonsense if you were not paid? Wow. So anyway, my people, if you want to get more, subscribe to this brother channel. I'm about to subscribe. Road to Jesus. Subscribe to this brother channel, Road to Jesus. He's doing his work. Matter of fact, I'm gonna 2011, this video have been made. I'm going to see if he is doing anything recently, if he's going on. 5 years ago that video was made, 5 years ago. So I don't know what's going on with him. I don't see any new video coming on, but who knows? I subscribe to his channel. And I want to say to you guys, man, that God bless you guys for joining me and supporting my channel, man. I have a lot of respect for you guys. Let me read some of these comments, because sometimes the comments add some flavor to what's going on. You know, Sister Dragon, God bless you, Sister Adrian, God bless you. I think brother, I always watch Steve Mashney, but I didn't get it. And we have Prince of Peace, God bless you. He said, the open-minded thinker is a joke, a foolish joke. That guy is such a clown, man. Guy is such a clown. I've never seen a bigger clown than this guy. Yeah, so my brother said, you will believe any beautiful speaking devil. I told you, according to Islam, the devil the devil goes into your bloodstream, but only God alone know about embryology. If the devil is in your bloodstream, that means the devil would know about what's inside of you. Your bloodstream goes to all your organs, go to what's going on inside of you. You know, so to say that the Quran must be coming from God, even if the Quran really had good embryology in it, that doesn't mean that it comes from God. It's to say that it's stupidity to think that way, because it is not only God who know embryology. I know embryology, and I didn't learn it from God. You know, and my sister says, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Hit the like button. And, you know, and I appreciate you guys. Don't care how slow the channel grow. I still have a lot of love, you know, because it's not about growing channel. It's about speaking. I just like to have, you know, if one person listen to me, today I'm going to show you something, what this clown said to me. E.A. Dawa, I think it's, what's his name? Khalil. He commented on my video, and he says to me, I will show you what this clown say to me, but let me show you something about Islam. First, before I show you what this clown said to me, let me show you something about Islam before, and then I'll show you what this clown said to me. Okay.
That. Now, the reason why...
Hold on.
Of God. All of the prophets taught...
Why? I don't know why it's not going
that.
there.
Now, the reason why...
It is not going to where I want it. Maybe they erased it, because I thought this was the one.
Of God. All of the prophets taught the same thing. God is one, worship him.
All the prophets taught the same thing. God is one, worshiping. That's not what I want to play, is this.
That. Now, the reason why messengers had to keep being sent was that when the messenger died, the message would get corrupted and a religion would be born.
So that's not what I wanted to show you guys, but you know, since he falls on that. But the clown says the reason new messengers come is because the message get corrupted, so new messenger come. But when Muhammad was here, Muhammad was asked, say, if Muhammad was told by the Quran, if you are in doubt about the revelation that we give to you, question the people who have the book before. And I'll be like, why would you question somebody who have, if you are in doubt, you need to talk to the people who have the book. And according to the Hadith, Warika was writing when Muhammad was in trouble and believed that a devil possessed him. His wife took him to Warika, who was translating the Injil into Arabic, I think. So it's just mouth talk to say that the Injil was corrupted, and this is why Muhammad came. This is totally lie and a made-up story. And then guess what? This bald-headed guy take Shahada. He literally become a Muslim because he listened to a clown like the red-beard dragon. But anyway, what I want to show is I want to show you guys something here. Here, where is it? 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 Okay, the comment of this guy. So let's, I could show you from here. I could show you from here. So here it is. Issa Dawa. Issa Dawa. Let me show you Issa Dawa. Unless he erase, he might have erased it. Who knows? But he commented, oh, here we go. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what this clown commented. So this clown come to my stop video and he said, LOL 50 views. So because one of the video had 50 views, he said, you know, I call him Dawa Donkey. He said, that's a good try. Read Ephesians 4 verse 29. So he's saying, he's talking about the views that I get. Like, to be real with you, you know, I would like to see a lot of views, but I would rather one sensible person watch my video than to have 50,000 clowns watching the video. And this is exactly what I told the clown. So I said, clown, 50 views from 50 sensible people. It is not about quantity, it is about quality. I prefer to have one sane person watch my video than to have 50,000 mad people watch it. This is true. If you come to like the open-minded thinker, if you look at that video that he just let me show you at the very mid one that he have 18. He did it like about today is the 2nd, so that's like about 4 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago, and he have 18,000, almost 19,000 view on it, but it's a lie. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a lie. So he have quantity in view, but his video is not quality because his video is a lie. You know, I don't lie and my videos. I don't lie on my videos. So at the end of the day, if I have 50 views, I have 50 people view me and I'm not lying to them. So, you know, and then he go to Ephesians 4 verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Corrupt communication. To say that Muhammad was a thief and a murderer is not corrupt communication. It is a truth. It is a truth. Jesus says to the people, you are of your father, the devil. When he was speaking, Jesus speaking to people, Jesus said, you are of your father, the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning. This is my Messiah, the one I should follow, the one I should imitate, according to Paul, because Paul gave the book of Ephesians, and Paul says in First Corinthians, I can't remember what, but he says, follow me as I follow Jesus. You know, so at the end of the day, he's saying, but what these clowns are trying to do is to use the Bible against Christians, to soften Christians, because they like when you soft coming to them so they can run over you. And that's why I tell you, Sam Shamoun and Christian Prince have the right approach to these clowns. But that which is good to use for edifying. If I am calling Muhammad a murderer and a wicked bastard, and I'm using hadith and the Quran to prove it, the person who want to listen to me saying wicked bastard and don't listen to what I'm saying, then it was not for his edification, because he came for the wrong reason. He came for the wrong reason, because what are some of these people come to do? To criticize you. They don't come to listen to truth. It may be minister grace unto the ear, because listen to me. If a person can tell me that when Jesus says, you are of your father the devil, he was a murderer from the beginning. If Jesus is telling people that you are of your father the devil, you want to tell me that he's not edifying to you, because he's telling people that you are from your father the devil? The same way when I call these clowns, I'm telling them, with love. I'm not calling you a clown because I hate you. I'm calling you a clown because I love you. I wouldn't spend so much time on a clown if I didn't love the clown, And so I said to the clown, I said, only a fool would think that speaking about the idiot Muhammad and his deceptive minion is corrupt communication and is not edifying to the ears, edifying to the people who have an ear for the truth. Because a lot of people, if listen to the way people said the truth and not the truth that they are saying. That's what a lot of people do. They come and they listen to, because a lot of us as Christians, and even if we were living in the time of Jesus, when Jesus says to people, you snakes, if Jesus was living in our day, a lot of us would have rejected the Messiah. A lot of us would have rejected the Messiah, calling people snakes. But see, Jesus says, woe to you, teachers of the law, Pharisees, you hypocrites, you whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of bones of the dead and everything unclean. That's what Jesus said to somebody, to people, because he was speaking the truth. When you're speaking the truth, that's what people need to listen to, and that's edifying. The truth is always edifying, to people. But what some people want you to do, to be sissified. They want you to be sissified. They want you to be sissified, and become soft people. Soft, so that they can run over you. They take the Bible out of its overall context and want you to be soft so they can run over you. This is what Paul says. I wrote to you in this letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. 1 Corinthians 5 verse 9. And this clown Issa is very sexually immoral because he took a man who have sex with a 9-year-old as a prophet. A man who have sex with a 9-year-old and take his adopted son's wife and claim his God agree with that, he took him as a prophet. So at the end of the day, I have no association with him more than to tell him in raw truth. That's me. I speak it in raw truth. Muhammad was a dirty bastard. You're not gonna hear it in a softer tone from me, because I believe Muhammad was a dirty, nasty bastard. That's just true. So anyway, I want to say peace out, man, and all praises to the triune God. All praises to the God who give us wisdom to decipher things and to make sense of sensible things and to make nonsense of things that are nonsense. And Islam is nothing but stupidity and nonsense. So I've said peace out, man. And today it's about 4:50 where I am. In some places it's 6 hour ahead, some places it's 12 hour ahead, and some places it is like 7 hour ahead. I know in some places in Africa, and even some place 2 hour ahead. Have a blessed day and keep it Jesus.